There's a nature trail near my house that I've been on several times. Now, every time I go there, of course, I take pictures. However, every time I come home and review my photos, I feel like I've missed something for some reason. And for the longest time, I thought it was because I was expecting to photograph scenes like this. But scenes like this are nowhere to be found on this trail. Now, this trail is not new to me. I've been hiking on it several times, so I kind of know what to expect. So I started to ask myself, why aren't there any tall cypress trees on this trail? And the answer was staring me directly in my face. It's because prior to this land being a wildlife refuge, it was used by the oil and gas industry. Throughout the whole nature trail, you can see how the land was scarred by the industry. I think that's what I've been missing. This trail is about nature reclaiming land after it's been impacted by the oil and gas operations. And that's exactly what I'm going to photograph today. When you first start walking on the trail, the first thing you notice is how unnaturally straight it is. This part of the trail appears that it used to be cleared land, since you are surrounded by willow trees, grass, and palmettos. With this trail being so straight, it reminds me of a liminal space similar to a hotel or hospital hallway. As you get closer to the covered bridge, it does start to resemble a natural trail, rather than a hallway cut through the swamp. When you get to the covered bridge, you will notice that the canal doesn't have any flowing water. That's because this is not a natural waterway and this canal hasn't been used in 30 years. With this picture, you can see how the tall marsh grass is slowly reclaiming the canal. On the other side of the bridge, you can see a little water, but it's slowly getting clogged with vegetation. Normally, I would say this is a bad thing for a waterway, but this canal is just returning to its natural state. The second half of the trail feels more natural. However, the only reason you're able to walk on hard ground is because when they dug this canal, they placed the dirt adjacent to where they were digging, creating a low levee of hard ground. From a photographic perspective, the only visually interesting scenes and views to be found on this trail is the trail itself and its relation to the environment. The forest surrounding the trail is not aesthetically pleasing because the trees are small and are close together, and you need the trail to give any image structure. Otherwise, your pictures could potentially be chaotic tree static. This photo is a good example to see the canal and its relation to the low levee walking trail. Also, I like how the tree on the left creates a visual anchor and the trail gives structure, and those elements lead the eye to the young oak tree hanging over the canal. This photo has nice lighting, beautiful palmettos, and also like the shadows of the trees casting on the trail. When you get to the end of the trail, there's a small boardwalk and observation deck of a small lake. Unfortunately, the only tall cypress trees to be found are in the distance, and all we are left with to photograph is stagnant water and marsh grass. There is also an old platform in the middle of the lake that probably was used for the oil and gas operations. But with that said, the lighting was nice and these pictures came out as good as they could be considering the subject. When I walked back, I snapped a few more photos. Even though I've been very critical of this trail, it really is nice and a relaxing hike. And I will come back here many more times to bear witness to the land repairing itself. Now before I end the video, I'd like to make one thing clear. I believe protected land should stay protected and oil and gas companies should not be allowed to drill anywhere that they want. Even though this nature trail is an example of nature reclaiming the land after industrial use, that this trail also be a warning, because land may be reclaimed, but it can never be restored to how it was before resources were extracted from it.